1 million subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
Never dreamed it was possible, but here we are. So I have no idea what the end goal is. I have no idea what the future holds. I have no idea where this thing is going to take us or how long it's going to last.
Hey y'all, how are you? I'm doing good. As you can see, I am at the building. Came to do a bunch of orders. This video is going to be a little bit different because we hit a pretty big milestone this week, and it's crazy. We hit 1 million subscribers on our main channel, Our Family Homestead, and it's weird. It's weird to even say that out loud. You know, everyone's like, oh my gosh, so exciting, but it's just a number, but really it's a lot more than that. It's 10 years. And so on this video, Daniel and I are gonna kind of go through the list of big things, little things that we've shared with you all and done, and I don't know. We're just gonna walk through it and share clips and pictures with you all, and just kind of go down memory lane because I think it's really incredible where we are. Not to brag, please don't take it that way, but just where life takes you, God takes you on these journeys, and we're not in control of them, but He is, and we're gonna give Him all the praise for this because there's no one else. It's not us. But anyway, let's get to it. Okay, we got orders done, and now we have a list, a really long list.
Is this a 10-minute video or a 1,000-minute video?
Probably closer to 1,000-minute video.
What are we talking about? What do we do?
Well, I already told them that we hit 1 million. Which is crazy.
It's crazy.
It'd be super cool if I hit 100,000 the same year.
I think you can.
I
think you can. DJ just gonna have to post more than one video a week. I keep telling her she just needs to sit down and just talk and just be DJ, and people follow it. People like it. You inspire all of us.
Do I? I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, we were kind of going through our phones and history because that's where we save everything. And I just wanted to pick out and talk about like some of the bigger things, whether it was a trip or just in general overall, that got us here. All the different things that we've done. And
I can remember the first couple of years, you know, telling Houston's big goal was we need to hit 100,000. He wanted that silver play button. And I remember for at least a couple of years telling Houston, listen, that may not ever be possible. Like, very few channels ever hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. It may not ever happen to us. I felt like I needed to make sure he understood that it wasn't a guaranteed thing, because growing on YouTube is incredibly difficult for a small channel. I mean, it's hard.
For sure. And it took us a very long time.
Well, I started posting content when Weston was a little bitty, but I never really took it serious. And in my brain, I didn't make that switch until December of 2015 was when I say I was really going to go after YouTube as a side hustle to see if I could monetize this platform and make some income for our family off of making YouTube videos. And they were mostly going to be the homestead community stuff, gardening and livestock and the animals, you know, all the stuff with the goats. And it wasn't just like an online petting zoo. It was, we were raising Kiko meat goats to put in the freezer and to sell, and as a farm business and all that kind of stuff. And that's what I did for several years. Really, it wasn't going to be anything outside of the farm.
Right.
And DJ kept telling me, you need to open it up. You need to show more. You need to show more. And I was like, nope, homestead channels show gardens, they show their animals, and it's just all farm stuff. And the first significant, for me anyways, or series of videos that I did that was off the farm, that was not homestead related, was our first trip to Pensacola, Florida, when we won a fishing trip at an auction, or we bought a fishing trip at an auction.
Yeah.
And went down for 2 days of fishing, or 3.
Well, it was 2 days of fishing, but it was 3 nights.
Yeah.
And then we ended up adding another night while we were there. We'd never been.
We've never been saltwater fishing at all.
No. And
but I remember, like, I was going to do this thing, and I took my DSLR camera with my microphone on top of it, and it was us and some good friends of ours, the McGills. So it was just 2 couples.
Yeah, just sit it up there. Let's have a whole thing. I'll film you.
You ever feel like you're being watched?
it doesn't bother you.
I know. Dang it.
And on the way down there, I'm like vlogging as we're driving from state to state to state. And all the other 3 people in the car with me are like, why do you have this stupid camera out?
We did.
Including my wife. Like, she had asked or said, I need to spread things out. I need to do more of a variety. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to vlog this fishing trip. How's this for a homestead video? Spend a little time on the beach, doing a little fishing. Look at this. There's almost nobody on this beach. It's gorgeous. And she was like, are you seriously gonna video us fishing the whole time? And I did. And guess what? Those videos did not go viral. Those videos didn't get 100,000 views at the time. I don't know how many views it has now, but it was the first thing, I feel like, that was significant that I did outside of the homestead stuff and our few hunting videos that we were doing.
And I'm so glad that we did. I'm so glad that I talked you into opening it up, and because it's our life and that's what we do. And I don't know, it was just, I didn't like being on camera. If y'all have followed the other channel for very long, I did not like being on camera for a long time. And
Years.
yeah.
DJ was a little embarrassed of me, I think.
Daniel wants me to be more involved in his YouTube, and I'm very uncomfortable with it. But we're gonna kind of not lie to him, but well, it was just different. Like, people just don't walk around videoing, you know. So it was just,
especially in 2015, 16,
Yeah.
17, 18.
Yeah, this was 10 years ago, so it was weird. And I don't know, but obviously I got over it, and once it became part of our life, you know, it's just the norm. It became the norm.
Well, it's easier when you walk around a small town and you got your camera out and you're talking to it, and people go, oh, that's the Arms family. They've got 1 million subscribers on YouTube. They see you differently than when they go, that's Daniel and DJ, and I have no idea what they're doing. They got like 500 subscribers on this some YouTube thing, and they're weirdos.
Yeah, I don't know why they're putting their life out there like that. That's weird.
It was weird.
It was weird, but was it? I don't know.
Whoa, look at this shirt. I do. They're too small. No, they're not too small. They are. This is mine.
Dumped off 2 loads of clothes and didn't buy anything?
Nope.
Hi.
Anything you want to say? It was weird for southern Oklahoma. It wasn't, might not have been weird, you know, when Casey Neistat was doing it in New York City, riding around on a one wheel with his big vlog camera. That was normal. People didn't do that in Oklahoma, in southern Oklahoma, and very conservative, you know, area where people are very, I mean, pretty much for the most part, pretty private.
Yeah.
I mean, now they put their whole life on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and OnlyFans and all the places, you know. But we were just kicking down doors in the beginning.
We were. So I just wanted to highlight, show y'all some clips, video clips, pictures, just of some of the things. And we're gonna I'm going to try to I guess we'll just talk about them and then throw them in.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
we can mix it in here so
Yeah.
it's not a 20-minute long
Just of us
talking
sitting here.
session.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to start with the garden.
This row of tomatoes right here, doing on a California weave, keeping them trimmed up pretty well. But those things are about 7.5 foot tall, and they are beautiful.
Because we did not do a lot of gardening. He did a lot of gardening.
For years before the YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, for
and
sure.
then when I got the high tunnel, I thought the high tunnel was going to be my end-all be-all for the YouTube channel. I thought that was my videos were going to take off, because I used to watch a guy on YouTube called MHP Gardener. It was Mobile Home Park Gardener, and the dude was brilliant when it came to greenhouse gardening, and his videos at the time were killing it. I mean, he was getting 30,000-40,000 views on videos where I was getting 30 or 40 views on videos, and I thought, man, if I can get a greenhouse up and going, that'll be like the kickoff for my YouTube channel. And I love the greenhouse. I grew hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds of food in the greenhouse, and we juiced.
Yeah, I will say, I might not have been working in the garden, but I cooked and I juiced.
Oh, for sure.
A lot.
The greenhouse really, most of the year was, its main function was to grow leafy greens for us to put in our juicer, because we juiced every day. And if you have ever juiced, if you take spinach, it doesn't make very much juice, or kale,
So you gotta have a lot.
You gotta have a lot of it. So we were juicing like buckets of spinach, and
Yeah.
made for some interesting bathroom tips.
Oh my God.
Anyways,
Okay, so, and we talked about Pensacola. That trip kind of set the precedence for the last 10 years, because we have gone every year since then.
oh yeah,
Because we just fell in love with it. It is just a wonderful place to be, and it feels like home every time we go. And
for many years, I would do like daily vlogs the whole time we were in Pensacola. So 7 days would be like 7 days straight of here's what we're doing on the beach today, or fishing, or whatever it was. And a lot of folks were like, "You're a homestead channel, you can't do that." And it's like, you're not the boss of me. That's what I wanted to say. You're not my boss.
yes, that's what I would tell him, is they're not the boss of you. We can do what we want, and let's share some more stuff. So then I'm going to go with Houston's haircut. That was a very big deal for me specifically. And it was a huge video on Facebook.
Excited. I'm excited.
You can show her
Hey,
that.
let's see. Come here. Come here. Whoa. You think you can do that?
Yeah.
All right.
Shorter.
He doesn't want longer, Mom. She's about to cry because you've never had short hair.
We did once.
Well,
That wasn't really short.
it wasn't really short.
It was short. He had no hair over his ears.
Are you nervous? You are?
Yeah.
There's no going back once she starts. It's just too late.
Thanks.
I need a picture. Right when she goes.
There's a lot of hair dropped off.
It's okay.
It's not.
You're next.
Oh my gosh. You look different. Oh.
Look at me.
Does it feel weird?
Yeah.
Yeah. It blew up.
Yeah,
on
it was
Facebook.
like a couple million views on Facebook.
Yeah.
And that was a long time ago. Videos didn't go viral like that. Long format videos didn't go viral on Facebook.
No.
They just didn't.
So I'll put in a clip of Houston's newborn picture, then when he was like toddlerville, and then when he was fixing to get his haircut. He wanted his haircut for probably 2 years, and I just could not. I could not. And because he had beautiful hair and it's just gorgeous. And then I finally let him, and it was very emotional for me.
Mom cried.
I cried. And so then he looks like what he looks like now, but I'll do the side by side. And it was very intense for me. And it made him age dramatically. And then a few days later, we got to meet Jimmy Houston for the first time.
Yeah, which is crazy. Like we were actually in Florida the first time Jimmy reached out to us. Mm-hmm. We were going down there to go. I think we were with Blue Gabe actually. Oh yeah. Doing some fishing stuff, and we went and caught some lobsters. No, that wasn't with Gabe. What all did we do with Blue Gabe?
We went fishing. That's when we caught Weston had the shark, the 400-pound shark, and me and the other 2 kids are back there puking.
Yeah, that was the trip where Houston got to meet raw fishing.
Yes.
And we are going to go look around after we are done eating.
Hey, what's today?
Today's my birthday.
Your birthday? You gonna do anything special for your birthday today?
Yeah.
What?
Take me.
Nice shirt.
What? Take me to shops.
You want to say?
How about Bass Pro Shops?
Happy birthday
to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Houston. Happy birthday to you.
Did you make a wish? No.
I didn't think I would eat you.
You didn't think you'd meet me? I got you something.
Thank
that
you.
is. Look what's inside. You're welcome, buddy.
Here.
Something inside.
So you turned 7 today?
It's a little struck here.
How do you open this? That's the open?
Isn't that cool? Hey, got
Another one.
Yeah, we're gonna swap it out.
Got you the right size and everything. Like go fishing.
Thank you.
Give me some knuckles. Oh yeah. Gotta try this on, buddy. You know what you should do? You should be like, "What's up, Raw fam? Back with another video," and then be like, I'll be like, "Wait, that's my intro." Think you can do it? All right, you gotta get nice and close to the camera.
So what's up, guys? Today we are at Bass Pro, and today
Houston got to meet raw fishing.
Yes, and we went.
Which was a major big deal. He had like 3 or 4 million subscribers back then.
Yes.
And Houston got to catch his first peacock bass, which was a big deal for me because that was a dream fish for my dad. Like my dad always wanted to go to the Amazon rainforest and catch peacock bass, and he never got to go. And then so when Houston and I and the whole family got to go, and we weren't in Amazon rainforest.
No,
yet.
we
weren't. We have not been yet.
No, we have
Still
not.
a goal. But Houston got to catch a peacock bass, and that was a big major thing for me. But while we were on that trip, I got a phone call from Jimmy Houston, who was actually our neighbor, lived 5 miles from us, but we had never met. Mm-hmm. And it was a major aha moment, I think, for me, because I'd watched Jimmy Houston on TV for my entire life. I mean, at the time, he'd been on TV making hunting and fishing outdoor television for 40-something years. And Jimmy called us and said, "Hey, all these people on the internet say I need to meet this little blonde-headed kid that lives down the road from me and take him fishing because he's got a big social media following." And it was crazy. But at the time, Jimmy and all of his producers and his television folks and his sponsors were like, "Hey, we need to get you bigger on social media. We need to get you bigger on YouTube." And he was trying to grow that, and collaborations are a great way to grow. And it was really like an aha moment for me that one of my longtime idols in the outdoor industry called us and said, "Hey, let's do something together." Like,
well, and I had watched him too my whole life. I mean, my dad was always a fisherman, and so every Saturday morning, that's what I did. I watched Jimmy Houston.
Yeah, everybody did.
Yeah, it was really cool. That same trip though, we also did That was our first iguana trip.
Was iguanas the same trip as Blue Gabe stuff?
Yeah.
I can't remember. They all run together.
It was the first, yeah. I'm pretty sure.
And that's what's
in there.
cool about this stuff is some of the trips we've gone on, we've made lifelong friends. Like,
yes.
We just randomly found, you know, when we're booking trips or going places, we just randomly run across charter captains and guides and people, and like we become lifelong friends with them.
Well, the iguana trip thing, that came about. I forgot how I got in touch with him originally, but Donovan, when I called him, I'm like, hey, we're, you know, wanting to come do this, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, okay, where are you guys from? And I said, you know, Sulphur, Oklahoma. And he was like, really? I used to live in Lawton, Oklahoma. And so it just, you know, and then we went down there multiple times after that. And now he's moved to Oklahoma. And I mean, we're still friends. And I love that. I love what the world, the
it's crazy. The amount of friends that I've made over the last 10 years that I would have never known if it wasn't for YouTube and the internet and all the things. I mean, guys like, I don't want to forget anybody, but there's a whole world of people out there that I've talked to on a regular basis, but people like cameraman Ron. Like, we wouldn't have known Ron if it wasn't for YouTube. We used to go to Pensacola, or we still go to Pensacola, but I used to watch 2 or 3 channels down there that Ron watched. Brant Peacher from Angler Up and Yak Motley, and like Jack used to vlog all of Pensacola, and that's how we found out about all the places to eat and drink and go and do and see around Pensacola was through Jack's videos on YouTube. And Ron lived in Tennessee or Kentucky. And Ron lived in Kentucky and ended up moving to Pensacola to make fishing videos, and he became friends with those guys, and we met somehow through all of that. And you know, Ron and I talked almost every day through text or Snapchat or something. And you know, he had a little small channel. He wasn't huge, but man, he had a huge heart.
Infectious. That's how I'd like to describe
yeah,
it.
I mean, we had some great, crazy cool times with Ron in just a couple of years, and then he tragically passed away. Just was fine one day, and the next day he was in the hospital and never left. And man, it's crazy that people that we've got to meet through this YouTube channel it's just
well,
crazy.
Actually, I want to go back. Our first YouTube trip was to Michigan. Luke invited us to.
Well, that was our first fan event for sure.
Yeah.
Luke from M.I. Gardner. You know, because we were a gardening channel for the most part, and Luke was one of the biggest gardening channels that it has ever been, and still is. What's up, dude? You gonna start our video off for us?
Yeah. So what's up, guys? This is Daniel and Houston and DJ from Arms Family Homestead, and we are at Luke's store.
What are we doing today? Luke's what? He's having a grand opening of his seed store, huh?
Yeah.
So I just want to thank everyone for coming out for this amazing event. It is definitely super exciting for not only us, but our staff, and we are just so thankful that you all have come out.
And he was having a grand opening for his seed company, and he invited us up to do a fan meet and greet and sign autographs and to hang out. And I was like, listen, Luke, nobody wants to come see us. We're just a small channel.
Matter of fact, I wore this same shirt there. That's the pictures I'm gonna post that we took there. I just realized that. Yeah.
But it was cool. I was the first fan event that we would call we're going on a trip to meet people that watch our channel, and it was cool. It was fun. I agree.
Okay, so then another big thing that happened for us was Houston and Jacoby in the creek monster video.
All the creek monsters, not just one.
Not just one. There was a lot, but so we'll drop a few of those little things in there.
Some of our biggest videos, I just called them creek monsters. We were catching crawdads in minnow traps, and the boys loved it. And they were like, "Oh, look at this monster crawdad!" So we called them creek monsters, and it kind of stuck. And we trapped crawdads in the creek for many years just because the boys loved it, and it was videos that I never expected people would enjoy watching.
Bella, what's in there? How many crawdads are in there, Bella? What you got, Kobe? Bring it over here. Let's see. What's in there, man?
Minnows.
Oh,
No crawdads in that one.
Well, I'm winning so far with the crawdads. Set that right there.
No, pick it up and put it over there.
Is he out?
Yeah. Look at the size of these two. Man. Houston, those are like eating size. How many crawdads are you gonna put in your little pond?
Only these two big ones.
But you already got like 4 or 5 other ones in there. We'll take them back though. We'll put them in there.
Yep.
Why didn't you just grab a hold of him?
Oh, there he goes. No.
Woo! But I feel like it took a lot of people back to their childhood, or it took people back to when their kids were little or their grandkids were little, and it's like a simpler time. And
For sure.
you know, we can load up and go on big fishing trips all around the country. We can go overseas and go fishing. And I know a lot of YouTube channels that go on these big trips all the time, and they're, you know, one video may cost them $3,000 or $4,000 to make, and then here we are over here with a phone and a GoPro playing in the creek, and takes 45 minutes to make the entire video, and that's what people want to watch. And it's always been cool to me that we can walk out in our backyard and just share our normal day-to-day life, and that's the stuff people want to see. We go on a few trips. We go off to the Bahamas, or we go off to Florida, or we go off somewhere on a fun trip for our family and shoot content along the way, and those videos are our lowest performing videos typically, because it's not what our audience wants to see, but we still share our day-to-day life, and that's part of it.
Yes, and that's also for me. I mean, because we don't have to share that, but we do for that reason, just for you all to just go along with us. And I know a lot of people have made trips after they've, you know, seen us go and do that. So in a way, it's helping other people as well, you know. But it's like my little memory bank. Not little, but how cool is it to be able to go back and just watch it all, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, the Bahamas, that's not somewhere we go very often. We've gone one time, and that was a big trip. That was the most expensive trip we've ever been on, and it wasn't even outrageous, but it was still like the most expensive trip for us. And we got to see some amazing things there.
Yeah.
And anyway, so I love just having that file on this little thing called internet.
Our home videos, instead of, you know, when we were little kids, your parents had their camera they put on their shoulder, and they had the home videos, and it was horrible and shaky, and nowadays you can't even find a tape player to watch them hardly. But our home videos have become our business.
Yeah.
And we can go back, not only can we just go back and watch all of that stuff ourselves and relive those adventures, but we turned it into a job.
Yeah.
Like, our career is documenting our life and sharing that. That's just crazy to me. Okay, move on.
Yes, moving on. Okay, next video was Houston crying because Daniel broke his fishing pole.
Smash the like button and ring the notification bell, and we'll see if we catch any fish. Okay?
Sometimes things just don't go as planned. Had a slight mishap. At least to me it's a slight mishap. To somebody else, it's not real slight. Why are you crying, buddy?
You broke my fishing pole. My new fishing pole.
I did. It was a total accident. So that video comes up all the time because each one of our kids, I feel like, have things that have happened over the course of this YouTube career that their friends still give them a hard time about, or their friends still bring up and laugh about, or whatever it is. You know, we hit 1 million subscribers on YouTube, and, you know, I asked Emily, all right, am I the cool dad now? Because she's always been a little bit like, not always, but as a teenage girl, it's a little bit embarrassing, I think, sometimes. But each one of our kids have certain things that they are burned into their memory because their friends will put it up on the TV in the classroom and show everybody a couple times a year. And Houston's was, for sure, we were fishing at the pond, our own pond, And Ed Kirkpatrick had sent Houston this little expandable fishing rod. He couldn't have been but maybe 4 years old. 4 or 5, maybe.
Maybe 5. I think he was closer to 5.
Anyways, this little expandable fishing rod was not top quality, you know, and it had got hung up out in the pond, and I'm yanking on trying to pop the lure loose, and the rod snaps. And Houston was not having a great day already, I don't think. And I just videoed it because I was trying not to laugh. I probably did laugh, but he's laid out on the four-wheeler just crying because Dad broke his fishing pole. And his buddies and the people at school bring that up on occasion. And it's kind of like, I told him yesterday, I said, he's like, when we hit 1 million subscribers, he was like, he brought that up, and he was like, it's embarrassing because my buddies bring this up. And I'm like, listen, that video is like one of the things that has sparked our career. You know,
Yeah.
nothing to be embarrassed about. Tell them that video's, you know, led to a lot of other opportunities.
Same thing on the next one for Emily. It wasn't like a big video, but it's like one of our favorite moments with her. When back in 2015, the creek had flooded. Mm-hmm. We couldn't even live at home hardly.
For like 2 months, we couldn't get across our driveway.
And we were fishing. Was I there? I think I was
You were
there.
there.
I was there.
We were running
Yeah.
limb lines for catfish in the creek. We had a boat down in the creek, and we're running limb lines, you know, just catching catfish by bucket loads every day.
Got nothing on it, Daddy.
And Emily was the little hick thing, and
Yeah. She reaches over, pulls up this catfish line. She pulls it up and says, "Ain't got nothing on it, Daddy." And
Got nothing on it, Daddy.
it's the most hillbilly redneck sounding voice you ever.
Oh
It's
my
the
gosh.
cutest thing.
Yeah.
We loved it.
Yeah.
And you know, that was just Emily, and she, like we were talking about it at supper when we hit 1 million subscribers. That was her video that she remembers. That she's like, "Oh my gosh, it's so embarrassing. My friends all have that video on their phone. Everybody knows about it." And she's like, "I swear, I think I was a boy until 7th grade because she was just like a hunting, fishing tomboy." And now she's a beautiful 16-year-old junior in high school that can out-hunt most of the boys in the school, and I'm proud of it. And then
yes, for
last
sure.
night she said she was going to start fishing again. I don't believe her.
I don't believe it.
Unless she finds a boyfriend that likes to fish, I don't believe her because I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
And then there was the Bigfoot video.
Sasquatch.
Sasquatch.
Not to play with fire, right? Well, whoopsie. Oh yeah, lots of fire. Oh yeah, lots of fire.
So I watched it and I'm like, that might be Sasquatch. Like, I've lived out here in the woods. I've lived in the woods for a long time. Woo! Well, Weston became Sasquatch once upon a time, and that video got picked up. It got millions of views across hundreds of different YouTube channels. Probably not hundreds, but like every Bigfoot hunter on the internet was downloading that video and analyzing it. It's been on the Travel Channel
Yeah.
for like all these shows that like things that shouldn't exist, or Bigfoot hunters, or the funny thing is none of them asked if if we knew what it was.
Yeah.
And what happened was I was burning in the backyard. Burning like I do every year, burning all the brush and leaves and stuff. And I pulled up my phone and I shot an Instagram story, just like holding the phone like this, and didn't think anything about it. Posted it, and Jason from Cog Hill Farm called me, and he was like, "Hey dude, did you see Sasquatch run through your video on Instagram?" And I said, "No, what are you talking about?" And he was like, "Watch your video. Right behind you, little Sasquatch goes running through the woods." And I watched it and I was like, that's crazy looking. And what it was Weston running through the smoke.
Yeah.
And so the next video I made was, did we just catch Sasquatch on video? And I analyzed it and talked about it and laughed about it, and didn't say what it was on that video. The very next video, I was like, oh, by the way, that was Weston. None of the Bigfoot hunters watched the second video. They only watched the one where I was like, did we just get Sasquatch? So Weston's pretty famous around the world for being Bigfoot, Sasquatch, and I don't know, shouldn't exist. Things that shouldn't exist.
Okay. When we hit 100,000 subscribers, that was July of 2019.
And here we are in 2025 at 1 million. I honestly never dreamed we'd hit 1 million. I mean, 100,000 when I was doing it, and my friends were laughing at me, and the guys at work were making fun of me, and my wife was like, I don't know about this YouTube stuff. I thought 100,000 subscribers was an impossible goal. I thought it was just, I didn't think it would happen.
Well, it felt like it took forever to get to 10,000.
It did. It did take forever.
And so
it took me 2 years to make my first paycheck on YouTube.
Of $100.
$100. You had to meet a $100 minimum threshold before they would pay you. It took me 2 years to get a paycheck.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen fast. It does not happen fast. Like, a lot of folks have come along in the last 5 or 6 years, and they just see a big channel that gets 100,000 views and life is easy. And I promise you, those first few years were hard. Hard. A lot of folks don't understand what goes into producing content, and that's fine. I get it. It's not for everybody. And I worked a full-time job in mowed yards and grew a garden to sell vegetables, and YouTube became a side hustle dream that I thought might help pay a few of our bills. And when it finally made that first paycheck, I went to my wife and was like, I made some money. Look what I did. And she was like, wow, you suck, basically. It took you 2 years to make $100. Well, I mean, as far as making money, like, she's like, this ain't gonna work. It's not gonna work.
It was so much time for what
hours and hours of editing.
Yes.
And so I worked full time, and I worked a lot of evenings. So I would shoot my content in the mornings. I'd go to work at 3, work 3 to 11, come in, she would be in bed most of the time already. I would sit down on the computer and edit from like 11:30 until 12:30, 1 o'clock. Get up the next morning with the kids, take the kids to school, do it all over again, finish editing, blah, blah, blah. And those videos weren't making any money. And then when they started making money, it was like 20, 30, 40 bucks. I'm like, how is this even justifiable? And there was a turning point. And I'll never forget the video. I was sitting in my greenhouse. I used to do greenhouse talks while I was working. And I was sitting in there and I was like, all right, folks, listen. YouTube's become a business, and it's actually making real money. But for the last 3 years, we've been pretty serious about growing a YouTube channel. And it is a hobby, don't get me wrong. I love doing this. I really enjoy making these videos. I enjoy the interaction I get with my audience. But on the opposite side of that, it is a little bit of a business. It is a small business for my family, and it's turned into a pretty awesome little income revenue for our family. So as I said, we've been about 3 years in the making, getting to where we are. The first year we weren't monetized. It was just, barely making pennies. The second year, I made about like $1,500, $2,000, It was really cool because like every month or so you'd get a $100 paycheck or something, and that was like amazing. That was really cool. Well, then 2018, things really kind of, I'm not gonna say took off by any means, because we're still a pretty small channel at the time of making this, about 46,000 subscribers. But so like 2017 was like $1,600 or something total. Well, 2018 was really cool. Through all of our revenue streams online, we made about $15,000. And that's pretty, in my mind, that's pretty substantial for my family. That's a huge thing for my family. And I made this announcement, pledge, promise, I don't even know what it was, but I was brutally honest with folks and was like, listen, YouTube's making, I don't remember what it was, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month, whatever it was. And I said, I'm going to use this money for its intended purpose. I'm going to save up. I'm going to pay off my truck. I'm going to pay off all our bills. We're going to get out of debt. We're going to do this Dave Ramsey thing. We're going to stick to it. But most importantly, I was not paying a tithe to the church out of my YouTube income, because it was side hustle money and it was just over here. And I felt like I was stealing from God in a way. I was. But I'd never paid a tithe out of that money, and I was like, I'm going to start 10% off the top, no matter what. And we're not even talking about taxes. And one thing that I failed to do last year with my YouTube income was to tithe. My family, my wife and I have tithed off of my income for a long time, and YouTube was kind of like play money coming in. So it didn't really ever make it into that category. So 10%, as soon as I get paid, 10% going straight to the church. I'll write a tithe check for that because I truly believe that's important. And the Lord is greatly blessing my family every day. So I feel it's my duty to go ahead and write that 10% check off that YouTube income, just like you would any other income. And it was like a light bulb moment. Like, I told a few friends about it, and they were like, okay, well, just get ready, because if you're loyal and faithful to God, He will be loyal and faithful to you. And that was a turning point for us. And I don't talk about money a lot, but that was a turning point in our YouTube income when I started being diligent and giving 10% back to God, because it was His. When they say blessings rain down from heaven when you're faithful, they're not wrong. Like, you can't outgive the Lord, because the more I gave, the more I got. And I don't even want to talk about all that, but it was the most crazy, magical thing. I'll never forget it, because paying that 10% off the top, not the bottom, and
it was scary. I want to add, that was really scary, because I mean, we didn't make much money back then. I mean, really, we didn't. And, you know, it was always off the bottom, because...
It was what was left.
Yeah. Because
we paid our tithe off of what was left.
And, you know, there were times back then when we had to transfer money out of savings to buy groceries. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, that happened often. And so the idea of getting rid of it before anything else was paid was scary. But it
changed our life.
It was life
and
changing.
I'll never deny that. It changed our life. And things have, I'm not gonna say everything was easy that day forward.
No.
Over time, looking back, that was a big thing for us. So,
it sure was.
Anyways.
Okay.
That wasn't in the notes. That was a bonus.
Well, it's part of the area.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously the kids and Daniel have done a lot of hunting over the years. A lot. Mm-hmm. So we'll drop a few clips of them hunting, fishing in there.
I feel like hunting and fishing is where I get my one-on-one time with my kids, and especially when they were younger. Houston's all into it now, no matter what. Weston, when he was little, like, that was our thing. We hunted and we fished and we did all that. And then when Emily was born, and from the time she was about 3, I started dragging her along, and that was where we connected in the woods. And you know, those two have kind of aged out of that program, I feel like, in a way. But that's where I spent hours and hours and hours and hours alone with my kids in the wood. Now, a lot of times Weston and Emily were sleeping, but not always. I mean, that was where we talked. That was where we got to be alone together.
We'll have to do that funny clip where Weston's sitting beside you.
Oh, jeez. You're going to expect me to find a lot of stuff
just
to
that
edit
little
this.
short clip.
I don't even know where to find all this stuff anymore.
I still have a bunch on Facebook, because I still have my Facebook account. Okay, then let's see, we'll go to the donkeys, when I got donkeys. Somebody had a little gas. She taking a nap?
She's fixing to.
The donkey situation is probably what allowed DJ to be comfortable on camera when we got Phoebe. Like, Phoebe was...
I was already on videos a lot.
You were on video a lot.
Yeah.
But when you got Phoebe, was kind of like your big ticket thing that made you feel comfortable to walk outside with a camera by yourself.
Yeah. And it took a while. My first video, I thought I was going to throw up. It was in my front yard, and I thought I was going to throw up. So definitely getting the babies, the triplets was, yeah, it's became a little addiction thing.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, then.
Some of these are not all in chronological order.
No, I'm trying to bounce around, yeah. But then so it would have been right after Phoebe, actually, We had bought a razor.
Right after.
Well,
Fallon.
no, it was the day before Fallon was born.
Oh.
Don't you remember?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so we had Phoebe. I don't know if we had Fairy yet, but we had the razor, and we had taken you guys riding with us out here at Crossbar where we go, and that's when we had our razor wreck, and it was spring break 3 years ago. Yeah, 22, which is crazy. I feel like, oof, that was a bad day. And then that night, the kids were okay. They got metaflighted out, and it was a whole thing.
We had that razor accident, and both kids were airlifted.
Yeah.
Weston and Emily got airlifted not from the scene, but close by, and flown an hour and a half away from us.
Yeah, and we had to drive up to Oklahoma City, and it was raining by the time we got up there, and because Weston was over 18, he was in OU Medical, and because Emily was not over 18, she was in Children's, and I was having to run back and forth outside, up and down the street to check on them. I had people here, and of course Daniel was there, and anyway, it was a very scary few hours for sure. They ended up with concussion and some staples in their head, which was really weird because their cuts were all in almost the same spot on their head. But they turned out fine. Well, sort of. They're fine.
But that video about that,
yes.
you sitting down, or me and you sitting down talking about that, DJ had been doing some podcast videos on my channel. We call them, we just sit down in the living room and talk. We call them podcast channels, or podcast videos, because that's what we were using to build up to releasing her own channel.
Yes.
And that video was literally probably 45 minutes of us just sitting with talking about raw emotions and where we were at and what had gone on.
Well, the next morning.
But hang on, that video went like, I'm not going to say viral, but it went crazy. It got hundreds, and it might have 1 million views now. I don't know. And it was literally 45 minutes or longer, however long, of us just sitting there talking and crying.
Well, it was just a few days after it happened.
Yeah.
And so it was very, very raw for sure. But the next morning, we didn't get home till like 1 a.m. Then that very next morning, I'm still on the couch because I had a little injury, and I'm pretty sure I had a concussion. And so I'm just trying to, relax with my coffee or whatever. And then he went out, he heard something.
No, I went out to bottle feed Phoebe.
Oh, that's right. You went to feed her. And heard something while he was out there in the other pen. And Freedom was having Fallon. And I had to go out there and help him.
Attempting to have Fallon.
Yeah, she was stuck. And Daniel had to pull her and...
Push. We're getting there. Come on. Push. Okay. Push. Oh. I know. We'll get you out in a minute, buddy. She's got to take a break. Come on. That's all right, Freedom. It's all right. All right, let's see. Out here in my sweats and Crocs this morning. Come on, baby. Go.
It was like we couldn't get off the adrenaline rush, and it was freezing and it was raining, and anyway, I'm like, and then this has nothing to do with it, but then like less than a week later, it was just a few days later, we're going to Emily's softball game, and a trash truck wrecks right in front of us. The guy's pinned. Daniel gets out, and like, oh my gosh, it was a whole thing. So yeah, we had a rough week. I don't know what was going on, but anyway, yeah. So then let's, what was I just thinking about? Oh, you retiring.
Sam 319 or more.
Sam 319.
10-8, route to TPS.
716 hours.
My heart's thumping. It's about to beat out of my chest. Crazy day. This is going to be a crazy day for sure. A little over 14 years ago, I walked in the doors of that training center as straight out of college, like 4 days after my wedding. Started one of the toughest, most rigorous, mentally draining, physically draining academies of any law enforcement agency in the United States. And today we're walking away. And it's a very emotional day. I'm not gonna lie. This is something that we've had in the works for a long time. It's not something that we came up with on a whim. My wife and I have been working on setting some personal goals for a long time, and those goals have been met, and we're moving on into the next phase of our life. Now, we'll go home and we'll explain a whole lot more about what's going on. I've been keeping this a secret from a lot of people for a long time, but we are officially taking an early retirement from the Highway Patrol. Yeah, we might ought to talk about that.
I forgot to write that down.
July of 2020.
Yes.
Our YouTube channel had grown large enough and dependable enough and strong enough that I was comfortable stepping out and leaving my job as a state trooper. I've been a trooper for 14 years, and I had never planned on leaving before 20. Probably was going to stay 25. And in July of 2020, I handed it all over and said, let's do this. But we had talked about it for probably a year before.
At least.
Yeah. We could have, if we were just talking finances, I could have left that job probably easily 2 years before. But I wasn't brave enough. I didn't have enough faith. I wasn't trusting in the Lord strong enough. I knew in my head this was like a thing, like it was calling me. It was like this weird feeling of, I'm gonna have to sit down one day and tell my wife I think I need to quit my job. And I sat on that for months. And I'll never forget the day I walked in the house. I'd been outside, probably in the garden, because that was where I did my thinking and working and processing of the world. And I remember walking in the house. She was sitting at the bar where she does all of her work and paperwork and pays her bills and does all the stuff in the kitchen. Pictures. And I sit down right behind her by the fireplace and said, I need to talk to you. And she's like, what? And I said, I feel like the Lord's telling me to leave this job and go full-time on the internet. And that's a weird thing to say, because the selfish side of me wanted to quit my job, but I felt like that was where I was being called. And tears went to flying. You can't leave. You can't quit. You can't stop. You can't, because it's safety, it's security, it's a career, it's what we've built our life on. And I was like, I have to. It's coming.
And eventually I came around, but it was a process.
But it was over a year later.
Yes.
It was maybe a year and a half after that conversation until I actually said, I'm done. And I will say this, when that time comes for whoever you are to leave your job for something else, it's a hard decision, but once your mind's made up, there's no going back. And I had to do that job for several months. There was a time frame where I knew I was leaving, and I hadn't told anybody because I was trying to get through some stuff and get to a certain time and all this stuff. And I've told this story really probably plenty of times, but once you make up your mind that it's happening, there's no turning back. And it is incredibly hard to go to work. And I was going to play it out a lot longer. And there's one guy that I worked with that he did my background investigation. There's a guy I looked up to for years. I did a whole video talking about him, about a podcast he did one time. And I called him and I said, here's the situation. Here's what I want to do. I got all this vacation time. Should I work like 2 days a week and burn, a couple days? And he was like, if you're done, you need to go, because you will never forgive yourself if you're working a couple days a week and taking off a couple days a week, burning vacation time, and something happens and you get injured and you get killed in the line of duty, or just lose an arm in a gunfight or whatever it is. You'll never, he's like, if it's time to go, just go. And he was right 100%. But it was one of the hardest decisions we've ever had to make as a couple, I feel like.
It was.
And it wasn't even about finances. It wasn't a financial decision. It was just a hard life decision.
Yeah, for sure. Buying the Mill Creek property.
Yeah, man. There's so many doors that have been opened up through YouTube and Facebook and all this content stuff. I've told people for years, we live on a property on 110 acres in a house that my dad bought, that he built the house in the early 80s when land was super cheap. And I've told hundreds of people over the years, I'll never sell that place because I could never afford it. As a trooper, I could have never bought that place. He bought it in the early 80s for $400, $500, $600 an acre. And now there's no way I could afford to buy land like that ever when I was a trooper, and that was my only income. That was not in the cards for us. We weren't gonna be able to buy anything like that because we weren't gonna go in that much debt. And the doors that have been opened up through YouTube and stuff, and the things that we've got to do, being able to purchase a piece of raw land. It was 80 acres to begin with. We went and looked at it, and we told the guy that was selling it what we were gonna do and what we did for a living, and he had the opportunity to sell it to some other people, probably at a little bit higher price, because we made an offer and he took our lower offer because he trusted us. And it turned out crazy, amazing. It was such a cool thing to be able to buy that. And then a couple years later, the guy next door was in a similar situation and had 80 acres, and he called me and said, I'm gonna sell this place to you. And I was like,
and that was literally the week after we bought this land here.
Yeah, for the merch building. It was just 3 acres, but still, yeah.
Yeah, we had just bought the 3 acres
with
here.
plans to build this building.
Yes.
And he called and was like, I'm going to sell that place, but I'm going to sell it to you. It's not on the market. It's yours if you want it. And I had dreamed of that possibility before and didn't think it was even a reality. We went and looked at it, sat on the tailgate with the man in his driveway, and he said, do you want it? And I said, yeah, I think we do. He said, well, how much will you give me for it? And I said, sir, there is no way I'm putting a price tag on your piece of property that you've owned for 2 or 3 decades, put your blood, sweat, and tears into and hunted on and worked on and all the things. I said, when you get ready to sell it, you tell me what you want for it and we'll go from there. And the crazy thing was his 80 acres and the 80 acres that we had bought a few years before, the price between the two of them was like less than $15,000 difference. Mm-hmm. And we took his offer, and I don't say any of this stuff to brag, but I will say both of those pieces of property are paid for. We don't owe a dime on them, and it's all because of
what we've built.
This stuff.
Yeah.
It's bizarre to me. I don't understand it. It's just like this building. We built this building debt-free. We paid cash to build it. And listen, guys, I'm not bragging. I don't want to brag. I don't want to sound like we are better than anybody. We were just as broke as the next guy when I was a full-time state trooper. I mean, we weren't in a lot of debt. We made good, sound quality decisions, financial decisions, but we were broke for a lot of years because we made a decision that I was going to work full time and she was going to stay home with kids, and that money wasn't going to flow from anywhere because state troopers back then didn't make a lot of money in Oklahoma. But through some unbelievable doors that God has opened, that we've walked through and trusted and had faith in, that just both of those Mill Creek properties are paid for. This property, this building's paid for. And those were opportunities that were scary, that we had to step on a limb and go, is this the right thing to do? And because you guys watching and supporting us and buying hats and t-shirts and all the things and pecans and soaps, and we're forever grateful. You've got to understand this has changed our life.
For sure.
It's changed the course of our life forever.
So we kind of we talked about Mill Creek. We hit on this property. That was super cool. All the things that led us here, you know. Me randomly saying, hey, I want to make my own t-shirts for us to sell. And he's like, I don't want to.
We didn't have time.
We didn't.
When I was working full time, we didn't have time.
We didn't. But I was like, why not add another thing to my plate? I'm already got these kids and my photography and YouTube and state trooper life, and why not add something else? And so it did. And
DJ and I did a whole video series converting our old ran down detached garage into her merch building. Mm-hmm. And I will say this, we sold t-shirts and hats before that through online vendors and print on demand and all that. Nobody cared. When we sat down and said, here's what we're doing, we were honest with our audience. We told people what we were doing, why we were doing it. I sat in the garage and told stories about when that garage was built and showed pictures of my dad and his buddies building the house. And, you know, I sat there and cried in the garage one day talking about it because it meant a lot to me. When we did that, and she started printing those t-shirts in our garage, and we would hold them up and be like, hey, we just made this t-shirt. It's going to Lisa in Kentucky. And our audience, you guys, jumped on board in a way that we could have never dreamed of. Mm-hmm. Because it gave folks out there that have wanted to support us a way to support us, and it took the middleman out of that. And our merchandise business started in our garage with 400 t-shirts and hoodies and everything, and we thought we were good. And it exploded and sold out in couple days, and we were in this crazy cycle for the month and a half of we couldn't get enough inventory and we couldn't print enough shirts. We had us and our kids and her mom and dad and her brother and his wife, and so Dusty and Marissa were there all the time, and we were working 4 or 5 hours at night to keep up. It gave you guys, it gave our audience a way to support us, and you blew us away, and still do. Like, we're from our garage for a couple of years to the shop at the house, and did not want to do that, but to this building that we don't owe a dime on. It's a business that my wife started in our garage that has turned into a 6-figure a year business that we never dreamed of. It was an accidental business that blew up, really.
For sure.
And we're forever grateful. But that's what's allowed us to be able to expand and do, buy property and buy things and do things to make more content, really, honestly.
For sure. Yep.
This has got to be like the world's longest video on your channel. And it's 3 o'clock and we've got to go get Houston soon.
Okay. Yeah. I want to talk about Bella real fast. I'm gonna drop some pictures and stuff of her in there. She was obviously a very big part of our life, and we shared her.
A very big part of the channel.
Yes.
Bella was in every video going
yes.
for years.
Yeah.
And there he goes.
Bella, you're kind of slobbering there.
So I'll drop some other stuff in there too. The kids playing sports here and there, because that has been a huge part of our life. We really started showing that during COVID, I would say, because people couldn't come watch, and it was Weston's senior year, so that was rough. And yeah, we'll drop a few clips in. We are gonna have to go. So
I just realized what time it was, but
Please report to Terry Martin at the South Intro. Travel, travel, travel.
job.
Ball handed off to number 87, Houston Arms, into the end zone. Touchdown for the Bulldogs.
Good job. Get back, get back.
Houston Arms with a catch in the end zone. Good for a 2-point conversion for the Sulphur Bulldogs.
Sulphur, number 10, Chase Woods. Senior, number 14, Emily McCain. Sulphur, number 22, Haley Beasley. Sulphur, number 25, James Beasley. This one, Howard, and coach by Chad Walker.
1 million subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
Never dreamed it was possible, but here we are. So I have no idea what the end goal is. I have no idea what the future holds. I have no idea where this thing is going to take us or how long it's going to last. When I first started YouTube, when I first really kind of started going big, doing bigger things, and then quit my job, I had hundreds, maybe thousands of naysayers going, "You're an idiot for quitting your job. You're an idiot because YouTube could fall apart tomorrow. You're an idiot because the internet could go away." And listen, follow where God leads you. He's not going to lead you in the wrong direction. Okay, this is not our journey. We're just here to watch, because I'm not brave enough to open these doors and walk through them on my own, and to sit back and really question, God, is this where we're going? Are you sure you want us to go here? I see that door is open. I don't know if I want to walk through it. And then you do, and I can't explain it, but it's true, and it's real for us, and we've proven it time and time again to the whole world. This little camera, I'm not a preacher, I'm not the world's greatest Christian, I don't claim to be better than anybody, but if I could sum up Arms Family Homestead's last 10 years, it is our way as a couple and as a family of proving, if you trust in the Lord and you follow where He's leading you, good things can happen. And we try to use this little camera lens to show the world a true, honest, real American family that's not perfect. We make mistakes, we screw up, we do things, but we want to share with you guys our lives, because every time we trust in the Lord and follow his lead, big things happen. And we celebrate that through this with you guys. And I don't know another way to put it. I don't know any other way to sum it up. The last 10 years of our life is just following the Lord's lead. And not every day on here are we talking about church, are we talking about scripture, are we talking about any of that stuff. But if you get anything from me, just know that we're doing what we can to follow the path that the Lord's laid out in front of us. We don't always know what that looks like, where it's going to go. We have no idea. We just have to have faith and trust. And I don't know. It's just, here we are, 10 years later, with 1 million subscribers. Not a preacher, but I guarantee you, we've shown a little bit of our faith to more people than almost every pastor that's ever walked the face of this earth. Really, we're not better than them, but like, we have this opportunity through this camera lens to share that stuff that with 1 million people. How many pastors can say they share their faith with 1 million people? And it's just crazy to me when I think about it like that.
Yeah, for sure.
And I love my wife, and she's good looking, and I love that.
Oh my gosh.
And then the famous words of Bobby Boucher, and she showed me her boobies,
Oh,
and I like those
gosh. Okay.
too. Hey, listen.
You're gonna turn red again.
she
Oh my god.
Is the Lord gave her to me. He said, "Here she is. Take her and make her your wife, and leave the father and mother and cleave and become one flesh." I'm still becoming that one flesh.
Anyway.
Okay, goodbye. It's just her video.
So, song of the video, I hadn't decided on yet. Do you have one that's popping in your head?
Bow chicka bow wow.
Oh, dang it. Okay.
It's probably like a song on Dirty Dancing or Pretty Woman. Or...
No. I'm actually gonna go with one of your favorites, and I've shared it on here before, but by Jordan Davis. Do you know who it is?
By Dirt.
Yeah. See, look at there. I just feel like it's appropriate because of the million, where we are, where we were, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
y'all go listen to that song.
And
I hope you guys.
We're gonna go pick Houston up from school.
Yeah, this is gonna be like an hour-long video because we still have to drop in clips.
DJ's gonna spend most of the evening finding those clips because Houston and I are going to the lake. We're going bass fishing. We have a tournament. We have things to do. Places to be. Hands to shake. Trophies to win.
No.
We're just hoping to catch a fish.
I hope you catch a fish.
Listen, I'm going fishing with my kid to spend some quality alone time with him. Who cares if we catch a fish?
That's right.
He does. That's who.
That's who. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. If you've made it this far, and as always, do your best.